U.S. forces is being sent to the Middle East, and John Bolton, of course, the warmonger, is talking about unrelenting force is the warning to them. And this takes us all back to the whole plan of everything that we've laid out to you, especially what General Wesley Clark talked about. So live today, we're going to show you the info and information and cover the what's been said and who's blaming who, because it's always a blame game for the agenda. Thanks for tuning in. Live today here on JWTV. It's Sunday. Thanks for tuning in to this report. Here to get you some information. You know, I don't usually report on Sundays, but I'm going to do it this time. We all know John Bolton to be one of the guys, and this is basically off of John Bolton's orders. And we all know him to be a guy who always wants war. And we all know that most of the globalists and top agencies use these people, of course, as forefronts to get into the war for resources and for direct orders, whether it be from Benjamin Netanyahu or whatever. That's why they don't want to pull the troops out of the Middle East, because Benjamin Netanyahu said no. But moving into what we have here, coming up with the reports today, the U.S. is deploying a carrier and bombers to the Middle East, and a warning to Iran. This just came out 2 hours ago. So this is directly under the orders, basically, of Bolton. He released his statement and everything, and now you had it coming out of the news talking about how more than 600 rockets basically was fired at Israel from Gaza in less than 24 hours. Now, in other articles, they were saying that Israel was the one releasing the rockets instead of Gaza releasing to Israel, but it's starting to say that, oh, now they're just going back and forth. So during this back and forth game that's going on here, where people are literally being bombed, Israeli forces and Gaza militants trade rockets across border. Israel deploys armored brigade to the border. So we're going to take it to the report, because basically after that, it was a blame game for Iran. So you're probably asking, like, how the heck can Iran get involved with this? But then it was like, okay, well, Iran is behind it. And so that's what they were saying, like, okay, now we're going to go in, because after that, U.S. exclusively says, well, we found some reports that Iran was coming to attack us. So this is everything that the globalists really want. And this is the big war right here. This is the Satanists talked about it. His name was Albert Pike. He talked about World War III. It will revolve around Israel, and all the nations will fight to complete spiritual and moral demoralization, and just basically degrading like all these nations revolving around this. And so, yeah, this is one of their, he wrote a book about it, Albert Pike, one of the Satanists and stuff like that, that they prop up so high, talking about this. But he wasn't the only one. So also, let's get back into the report here. I'm just showing you these things. I'm going to show you when they actually was firing the rockets. Here is the video. I'm going to talk while it's going. So yeah, this was the video report of basically the rockets being fired. They said it was near the border where Israel and Gaza is at. So now they're deploying some aircraft carriers there. It's coming out in reports. So this is a war that's kicking off over, with the U.S. starting to get involved now. So report going in. U.S. deploying carrier strike group to send message to Iran. National Security Advisor John Bolton, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo didn't say what Iran has specifically done to trigger the action. This is because that's the actual plan, to get into Iran, 7 countries in 7 years, even though General Wesley Clark was a little bit off on that. He was accurate about basically what countries they would come after. So don't matter. We don't know why we're going to war with Iraq. We don't know why we're doing that. But we're going to do it because we can overthrow governments and militaries. This is what he said. We'll go into that video again later. But John Bolton warns Iran of unrelenting force amid tensions in Gaza, May 5th, 2019. So this is all coming out. This is just 2 hours ago when they reported the aircraft carrier group going in. And so that means the group was already going there even faster than what the reports are telling us. So moving into it a little bit more here, let's go into the report. See, Iran slams Israel's savage attack on Gaza, blames U.S. support. That came from the Jerusalem Post. Then it was also the other report coming out saying that Iran was behind the Gaza escalation. So it sounds like false flag season once again. And this is how it cooks up. This is how wars breed, false flag season. And so all the blame game, we're going to read into the report, but we're going to get down to it. Iran's foreign ministry on Sunday condemned what is called Israel's savage attack on Gaza and blamed unlimited U.S. support for Israel, the semi-official Fars News Agency reported. Foreign Ministry spokesman Abbas Mousavi said Iran strongly condemned the Zionist regime Israel's savage attack, which martyred and wounded dozens of Palestinians, including women and children. Fars reported due to unlimited American support for the regime and the embarrassing silence of some Islamic governments, there is no end to Zionist crimes in the occupied Palestinian territories. So yeah, and here's a report right here where basically U.S. says we seen that Iran was basically planning an attack on us, and so now we're going to go in. See, aircraft carriers sent to Middle East after indications Iran planned attack on U.S. forces. So they came out with their report a little bit after saying they were sending aircraft carrier strike groups, and not just saying, well, we don't know why they're sending it, we just know they're sending it. Like we said, we go down in the statement, and the statement comes from Bolton. A statement from National Security Advisor Bolton said the deployments were intended to send a clear and unmistakable message to the Iranian regime that any attacks on United States interests or on those of our allies will be met with unrelenting force. The United States is not seeking war with the Iranian regime, but we are fully prepared to respond to any attack, whether by proxy, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which they already designated as a foreign terrorist. And the statement continued. A U.S. official told ABC News. So yeah, there's his statement on that situation. So basically they're sending in the carrier groups, and doesn't matter if it's Iran's fault or not. It just matters that they need anything they can to start the war basically with Iran, because it's their designated target. So meanwhile, the people are caught up in between everything that's happening. So we just showed you that report. They're firing back and forth. And again, just like General Wesley Clark, don't matter if it's a false flag, right? Because global warfare, we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years: Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran. Of course, in Libya, it got real bad after Gaddafi got taken out, which the United States was working with, and the country wasn't as bad. And then when he got removed, you had organ trafficking with Libyan slaves and all types of stuff going on. So, of course, that was under Obama when that happened. But anyway, let's go back into the video, because people need to know, like, why are they getting these wars? Why are they doing this stuff? So we want to show you the video once again. So it doesn't matter if it's a false flag or not. It doesn't matter at all. All that matters is this is the plan, and that's what they got to get to for the next phase. So here is the video, General Wesley Clark. It was like in 2007 when this report came out. Don't know if it was posted before that, but 2007, way back when. Again, take into the video.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me, and one of the generals called me in. He said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda? He said, no. He says, there's nothing new that way. They've just made the decision to go to war with Iraq. He said, I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments. And he said, I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail. So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
So 12 years ago, he said that, and we're living out basically the moments where they're moving into getting to Iran as the final plan, basically. And Satanist Albert Pike, who wrote the freaking book about World War III, is going to be, all the other nations are going to line up around the war revolving Israel. I believe he said Iran too, but I know it was Israel for a fact, because they believe, of course, all this, the highly elected ones and stuff like that, when people have been scattered all across the world since those times. And Israel, and they just believe that Israel is the heart and foundation of what they're supposed to follow. And so they still believe it's the same Israel it was years ago. That's changed. It's different, diverse groups. The Nicaraguan, basically, people who came back up during Operation Moses, you can look this up. It was Operation Moses. They came back to reclaim their actual birthright. And they were part of Jews, but of course Jews, the J's didn't even exist in ancient Hebrew. I was telling somebody that today, so it was Y, so it was UDN people and stuff like that. So yeah, they let the Nicaraguan Jews come back, which of course was black people. But they let them come back and they said, oh yeah, you gotta all join the military, and we're gonna bring you back on these private planes, and you can't practice your culture basically openly. So yeah, it's been people scattered abroad since all these times, and people all across the world, migration process, kicking people out of countries and stuff like that, while all this war situation goes on. So anyway, back to the situation. I was just getting off right there because it's just like people think that Jews is only one group, and it's just like so many people in different specific groups. Of course, diverse culture, that's how it happens when people start breeding over other people. But anyway, U.S. deploys forces to Mideast to deter Iran. New intelligence suggests ally interests in American forces could be imperiled. So yeah, this is what's happening. I wanted to give you the Sunday live report. You want to get this one out, share it with people, let them see what's happening. Let them see how it was just saying. Though that's crazy, right? It's not like this spontaneously happened and nobody expected it to happen. It was a plan, and now they're moving towards the freaking plan after all this time. So it's about to happen, and we're getting even closer to more crisis as it kicks off. So thanks for tuning in here live today on JWTV. What do you think about this situation? Somebody says it will be the brink of nuke, which can be mistaken, can't even read it. But this is a live report anyway. I wasn't going to go live today, but I'm giving you this information because I think the population wants to know what's going on. And so that's why I gave it information. So we'll be back live streaming tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time. That's where I'm located at. So thanks for tuning in, and hit the like button, like somebody just said, because you hit the like button, it gets out and it spread faster. We all know that this channel is shadow banned and everything else. They're trying to do to silence the information because we show stuff that's actually accurate. And we actually question the narrative, because some people just take, oh, well, they did it. No, they did it. And we don't do that because false flags always kicked off wars all the time. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Here is the live show for you today, and we'll have more 11 a.m. Central tomorrow. You can tune right back in. Actually, it will be today because it's 12 already. currently where I'm at. But thanks for tuning in, getting out the report. And this is the information that you can share out to your friends, your family, let them see what's happening. This is not the line mainstream media news. Is going to push one narrative. We're going to let you see every side and angle. And thanks for tuning in today live. We're out. Crazy times.